Our Collision 2017 coverage is proudly powered by Monster Products. Find the headphones and speakers that match your style at plugitslive.com/monster. Anyway, we have got our next guest here. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Lovely to see you
Go ahead and
guys.
introduce yourself for us.
My name is Kim Hunter. I'm the Vice President of Communications and Engagement at a company called Aclama.
And you and I got the opportunity to talk last night about your platform and something interesting that happened here in the conference center yesterday that explains a lot of our own behavior, which I love. Yes. Go ahead and tell us what happened.
Yeah, so Aclama was founded on the premise that planetary health and human health are interconnected, that our environment affects how we perform, how we think. And so we do large-scale environmental sensor networks. We do that in buildings, and we also do that in cities in the outdoor environment. And yesterday we had the pleasure of being a featured startup as part of the START group of folks. And we actually set up a real-time node that we typically distribute in a network, Fitbit for the planet or Fitbit for the buildings, if you are familiar with that. And we plugged it in the morning at 8 a.m. So we map a whole host of metrics around the environment: CO2, CO, light, temperature, humidity, sound, all of these things that sort of make up the human experience. And what we've learned from research from Harvard is that CO2 levels actually directly affect our cognitive function, how we intake information, how we make decisions. And we know that once we get over, nearing about 1,000 ppm in science terms, in CO2, you're cognitively diminished. And so yesterday when we plugged in at 8 a.m., we were at about 510. Outdoor is typically about 410.
Okay.
Indoor, 510 when we started.
So considering at 8 a.m., how many people were set up and already in the building?
Just starting to come in.
That's not bad.
Not bad. And what was very interesting is about, every 15 minutes, we just started to see it clicking up, 510. 560, 600, 650, 750, 800, 850, 899. I'm like, are we going to hit 900? We hit 900 by the end of the day. We were at 950. So we were talking about this last night.
So for those of you who watched our last couple of interviews yesterday with Nikia and Danielle and were wondering why they were a little goofy.
Wasn't our fault.
It turns out they were being poisoned by the conference center.
Maybe they needed a little more fresh air, So yeah, around 3:34, if you started to feel a little diminished, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It was the environment. But we did that in buildings and work with enterprise customers and commercial real estate to really create better buildings for people to perform in that are comfortable and really optimize that.
That's awesome.
Where did this come from for you? How did this happen?
How did Aclama happen? So we have a CEO named Davida Herzl, and she is just really a visionary. She founded the company in 2009, really before IoT and really what we could do with cloud computing and machine learning. Because she founded the company and then started to explore these different technologies and licensing technologies from different universities that would become what environmental sensor networks are today. And so it was the mix of sort of low-cost, small-scale sensors, cloud computing, and machine learning. And so she started in the built environment and basically was like, how are we going to create this new level of environmental intelligence about our environment? She'd worked in sustainability and conservation for a long time and really saw that we were missing, we've got a data gap when it comes to the environment. And if we're
trying to draw conclusions based on partial information, and you can never draw good conclusions that way.
Yeah, and we've really built our world in an absence of data in that respect. Our buildings are, pretty, in terms of how you design or build buildings, once you've actually got people in them, it actually shifts sort of how the idea of how something works versus, a real-time sort of experience
Sure.
of the environment. And so we actually have worked with Google for the last 5 years and deployed one of the largest environmental sensor networks in the world across their building portfolio.
Wow.
That network's reporting 500 million data points a day, and it's really about sort of optimizing our spaces for knowledge workers to, 90% of your costs are people. 10% is your building.
Yeah.
So how are you really optimizing your buildings for better performance from a human standpoint, not just efficiency? The next wave of green building is actually going to be how do we bring more health and well-being into these spaces as well as make them efficient. Right. And then we decided to go outdoors a few years ago and deploy our environmental intelligence platform on vehicles to map air pollution and air quality at the street level. So we've actually been equipping Google Street View cars with our environmental intelligence platform so that we are actually geolocating, timestamping, and analyzing the air as we're driving on city streets, creating high-resolution, large-scale data sets that help us understand our urban environment.
So clearly Google is excited about this.
Yeah, I think I would say that they've been they're an incredible partner, and they're really
awesome.
leaning forward on being sort of champions for bringing more environmental data like this, to people and for the planet.
So, what kind of data points are we collecting from inside of a building in this case? Because obviously we talked about one, but that can't be the only thing we're collecting. What kind of stuff is it we're looking for?
Yeah, so we actually we've created our own hardware.
Nice.
The hardware is, we call it a node. Nodes make up a network.
Sure.
And the node contains, upwards of 12 different sensors measuring CO2, which we talked about,
Sure.
carbon monoxide,
Another important
volatile organic compounds, VOCs, smells, cleaning products.
which I am highly
cologne.
allergic to.
Yes, and you will get irritated if you have high VOCs in a building, right? And we actually know from Harvard's research that high VOCs actually affect your performance as well.
They don't even have to be high for me.
Just a little bit.
They just hit you, right?
Little bit of
Little bit of lemon
Febreze, and
pledge.
I'm done. I'll have a headache within 10 minutes. I'm
And
done.
a lot of people are like you, right? A lot of people are like you. And so, off-gassing of furniture, new car smell, that's VOCs. So that's one of the things we sense.
Okay.
And then particulate matter. So that is this very fine particles in the air that actually contribute to respiratory problems and can also affect cognitive function. And then we also measure different comfort parameters. So light, sound, temperature, humidity.
Wow.
Because what you actually see is, depending on a building and its where it is located, solar radiation could actually shift, and you'll have different temperatures throughout a space. So you've got, Sarah over here who's always complaining that it's hot, and Bill over here who's always complaining that it's cold. And we actually help provide sort of more real-time environmental intelligence to help buildings be managed better. So what we do is combine.
That kind of thing is probably what is in action. So Danielle, who's our other host, goes to Florida Polytechnic in Tampa and Lakeland. You might have seen the building. It does like this, and the roof of the building moves throughout the day according to that.
The sun.
Specifically to prevent certain parts of the building from getting warmer or colder than others, and using the sun as part of the heating system for the building.
Yeah, and
So
figuring
you'd
out
have
how
to-
do we use nature and
You
how
have
can
to
we
be able to have stuff like that to be able to do that.
Well, you need the data, right?
Sure.
You can't, the old adage, you can't manage what you don't measure. And so what we've done is also combine those different streams of data to provide information products to our clients. So we deliver building pulse reports that are helping you understand how your spaces are being used.
Okay.
This conference room, you're seeing regular buildup of CO2. You need to focus on that. You need to increase your ventilation. So really giving people this sort of new level of environmental intelligence about their spaces. The Google network does 500 million data points a day. And we've been collecting data there for a number of years. And then the powerful and fun part of that is the machine learning and sort of what you get to do with those big data sets, right?
Sure.
And the outdoor work is actually really exciting too, because I think there's a lot of benefit for people being more aware of how our environment is.
Especially being able to pair the indoor and outdoor in a particular area to determine if the outdoor environment is affecting what's happening inside.
Absolutely, and so measuring particulate matter does that.
Sure.
That's actually a good metric for pollution, intervening into an indoor environment. Also, CO, carbon monoxide,
Sure.
that comes out of vehicles and pollution.
Yeah.
So, you've got a lot of buildings that are located along freeways or
Right.
in certain places. 92% of the world, according to the World Health Organization, breathes unhealthy levels of air quality, unhealthy air. So we need more of this data. We need to understand how do we navigate in a world where, the health of our environment directly affects the health of us. And what we want to do with the outdoor work is, how can we have sort of embedded environmental intelligence? How could environmental
Sure.
intelligence be the new GPS? How is it driving my apps or my day-to-day decisions? If I'm going to work, can I eco-navigate there? If I'm going for a bike ride, can I optimize that to, have it be not only a great exercise, but have that air I'm breathing
Sure.
actually really, help me as well and not diminish my
Right.
capacity. So I
You
think there's
could-
a lot of exciting opportunities to really embed this layer of environmental data.
Yeah, because you could build that kind of information into, well, since Google obviously likes the idea, let's use it, into Google Maps on their walking or bike instructions to avoid maybe a road that itself is regularly a problem.
Similar
but,
to the
but one,
avoiding heavy traffic areas.
exactly,
It'll be like
one
avoid
that's
these areas
2
because
blocks
of-
over
Yeah.
may be fine because there's not as much traffic on it. They could avoid a bike or walk down the heavy CO and move you 2 blocks over.
Exactly.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I love it. So if a building owner or somebody wanted to get this into their property structure, how would they go about doing that?
Well, they should go to acclama.io. That's our website. That'd be the first place to check it out. They can contact us. And we're going to be doing a lot of growth this year and expanding. So we're looking forward to getting out there more. So
That's awesome.
check out our website and go to our blog. We've got some really fascinating stories around sort of the environment. We actually were at a Python developer holiday party in San Francisco in this reactor space. And we set up a demo node again. And we saw, it happens that in the evenings, this space turns off their HVAC because it is a cost savings mechanism. Well, we were watching.
Or so they think.
Yeah, and you've got these guys giving these incredible talks about, Python and all of this stuff. And we were watching the levels go up to 1,200, like CO2, and that's the dumb zone, man.
So you're saying you're saying by the 5th or 6th talk, they're making a little less sense.
Possibly, yeah. So it's
So
exciting stuff.
So
Wow.
a building owner has you guys come in and then set up your sensors and your nodes, and then he pinpoints the areas that he needs to work on. Do you guys help him figure out how to
Yeah, so we really offer sensing as a service.
Right.
So we maintain ownership of the hardware. We manage the network. We ultimately what a building owner or facilities manager wants is actionable insights.
Right.
They want to understand what spaces are a problem, what are doing well, and then some information on how they can make it better.
Okay.
And so that's really where we try and make this sort of effortless and a delightful experience in terms of helping people better manage their buildings and really, don't worry about the network that we've deployed. We've got that covered. Focus on creating environments that are good for your employees and
great.
ideally also good for the environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It is.
I kind of live and work in the IoT space myself, and so
Yeah.
hearing how many data points is fascinating to me, because the system that I'm most proud of ingests today somewhere in the 36 million a day range. And
Yeah.
it doesn't take long for that system to be down before they start backing up. So
Oh,
to be able to push that kind of data through is impressive.
Thank you. It's a testament to our engineers and also to Vita's vision for really bringing together sort of big data, cloud computing, an architecture that we can really navigate, and then also developing visualization tools to, how do you visualize or enable people to explore billions of data points? you know, and that's what we're working on right now with our outdoor data, is how do we create interfaces that really enable people to see, you know, their environment and visualize it. You know, we envision a day where, you know, air quality data will be as accessible as weather maps, and that day's coming, and we're excited. We're going to be making some exciting announcements this summer, and we are going to be announcing some research that we've done also that it's got some interesting insights. So stay
Very
tuned.
Cool. Well, we look forward to that.
Thank you very much.
Thank
where
you.
can they find you again?
So you can go to aclama.io. You can follow us on Twitter at Aclama. We're on Facebook. We've got a great blog, and we're also hiring. So if you're a talented developer or engineer, check us out as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Have a good rest of the conference.
I appreciate it.